We call it the storm of 35, I guess, when the norther came in.
I was little, probably 7 or 8 years old, but I remember the black, dark clouds coming from the north, and it got so dark in the house. Well, they lit a kerosene lamp, and you couldn't even see that light.
It was a nice, calm day. We saw it coming, so we went in and got the camera and took the picture. Then after that, we went in, and the house was just like night, just black. It was just dark like nighttime.
And it was just total black. In front of it, birds of all kinds were flying. You know, that's when a lot of people thought the world was coming to an end. And I wasn't for sure myself.
Nothing like that black duster. That was the daddy of them all.
For those living in the Great Plains, the 1930s brought more than the Great Depression. Like money, jobs, and food, rain was scarce. Drought conditions in the area were relentless, and with the drought came dirt. Referred to as dirt storms, sandstorms, black blizzards, or dusters. They sometimes lasted for days at a time. But one storm, on one day in 1935, still lingers in the minds of those who were there. Forever known as Black Sunday, the storm that hit on April 14, 1935, was not the first of its kind, and definitely not the last. But it was harder and blacker, and it captured the public's attention. After Black Sunday, journalists coined the term Dust Bowl to describe the region and the storms that ravaged it. These are the stories of Dust Bowl survivors who recall that particular day. Some were very young, some were teenagers or young adults. They lived in the city or small towns, but most of them lived in the country. They all have a piece of the past in common, and here they share their own memories of Black Sunday.
We lived out on a farm, and it was Sunday afternoon, about 4 or 5 o'clock. We saw this cloud in the north and northwest, and it started about that big, and it just kept getting bigger and bigger, and we could tell it was rolling. The first time we saw it, we thought it was a rain, a cloud coming up from the north.
But we knew it to be what it was, dust, dirt, and it just slowly came closer and closer. And in the beginning, there was no sound, but eventually we heard a sweeping sound, a sort of a susurration as the wind was picking up the earth closer and closer to us,
It took it at least 45 minutes to an hour to get to our place. As I remember it, it was not a straight wind. It was just a rolling cloud of black dirt.
And it, as it got so close, maybe a quarter of a mile or a half, we all went inside. And that was the experience, the first really bad dust storm that we remember.
By 1935, area residents had dealt with the ever-present dirt for a few years, with 20 dust storms recorded in 1934, and that number would double by the end of 1935. Dust was a normal occurrence in the lives of those who lived in the southern plains. However, Sunday, April 14th was shaping up to be an unusually gorgeous day, perfect for a picnic.
Completely unexpected. Just a quiet, sunny spring day, going out into the country for a picnic, and then having this cloud appear over the horizon, and within the next several minutes engulfing us in total darkness.
One of the classmates and I had a date and went out on a picnic north of White Deer on the White Deer Creek.
We would occasionally go to a place east of LaFours known as the 10-Mile Hole. There was a body of water out there where people used to go and picnic and swim.
big storm started to end, we could see it beginning over in the north, and we, not knowing anything about it, of course, we come on in back home. But by the time we got to White Deer, where my home was then, the edge of it had just gotten there.
My dad was away from the car at the time, probably off with his .22 rifle looking for rabbits. But he came back, running back to the car, having us load up our supplies, get in the car. We started back toward town, which would have been about a 9 or 10 mile drive. And I know it was extremely dark.
It absolutely darkened it out, just like you turned the light off. And there were people that was frantic, not knowing what it was, and had never seen anything like it before because it was an eerie-looking storm coming in.
I don't remember being really scared. My folks would take care of us.
But there's certain things like that you remember, especially when you were younger, I think you do.